the cameras flashed.
The crowd froze.
And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Close your eyes for a second if you can. I want you to picture this scene. It is January 11th, 2026. The Beverly Hilton.
Oh, the tension in that room is always just off the charts.
Exactly. The air is thick with expensive perfume and the static electricity of 1,000 designer gowns. Flash bulbs are popping like strobe lights, blinding and relentless.
Everyone is terrified of tripping or saying the wrong thing.
It is the 83rd Annual Golden Globe Awards, and anyone in Hollywood is holding their breath, waiting for their name to be called.
Hoping for that moment of validation that defines a career. It's essentially the Super Bowl of narcissism.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
The glitz, the glamour, the open bar. It is the specific night where the industry pretends to be a family, but really everyone is just looking over everyone else's shoulder.
Right, to see who is more important.
Precisely. It's where legends are cemented.
Okay, so keep that image in your head. Now I want you to do a hard cut, smash cut actually. Go 3,000 miles east.
Across the country.
We are in Edison, New Jersey.
Ah, yes.
We are under the harsh, buzzing fluorescent lights of the New Jersey Convention and Exposition Center. There is no champagne.
No.
There are no gowns.
Oh.
There are, however, heat lamps and crickets.
Thousands of live crickets.
Thousands.
And probably a very distinct smell. That sawdust and reptile musk is unmistakable.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the smell of a middle school science classroom, not a red carpet.
And standing there, amidst the sawdust and the reptile enthusiasts, is an A-list actor. A man who, at that very moment, should have been in a tuxedo in Beverly Hills.
But he wasn't.
He wasn't. He chose a cold-blooded companion over the hottest ticket in town.
It sounds like a fever dream or maybe a plot from a quirky indie movie, but this is the reality of the 2026 awards season.
Today, we are on a mission to uncover the stories behind the fame. From those red carpet shocks to the domestic plot twists that make us realize stars are weirdly just like us.
It is Tuesday, February 24, 2026. We are fresh off the heels of a truly chaotic BAFTA ceremony in London, which we will get to.
We will definitely get to that.
But first, we are looking back at the Golden Globe moment that broke the internet and defined this entire awards season.
So let's unpack this deep dive, because the headline story here is something that feels like it was written by a sitcom writer, but it is 100% real.
Completely real.
We are calling this the acceptance speech that upstaged the win.
And it really did upstage the win, which is saying something, because the win itself was massive. We're talking about Rose Byrne.
Right.
She wins Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy.
Can we pause just to contextualize that award?
Yeah.
Because musical or comedy at the Globes is a fascinating category.
It really is.
It's often where you see the most interesting battles because it lunks together things that are laugh-out-loud funny with things that are, well, just not tragedies.
Precisely. It's the catch-all for lighter fare, but often the performances are just as nuanced. Rose Byrne has been a comedic heavyweight for years. Think Bridesmaids, think Spy.
She is incredible in those.
But she's often been the ensemble player, the scene stealer, not the one holding the trophy. She's the one who makes the lead look good.
And here she wins for this A24 indie film. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. It is her first Golden Globe win ever.
A huge deal.
You watch the footage, and she is visibly shocked. She's emotional. Her jaw literally unhinges.
She was totally caught off guard.
She gets up there. She thanks the filmmaker, Mary Bronstein. She shouts out her parents watching on Paramount Plus back in Sydney. It's a standard, beautiful, teary-eyed moment.
Until she starts scanning the room.
Right, until she starts scanning the room. Usually in these moments, the director cuts to the partner.
They're beaming, they're crying, they're wearing a bespoke tux.
But the seat next to Rose, it's empty. Or rather, it's filled by someone else. And Rose drops this bomb on the audience. She explains that her partner of many years, the legendary Bobby Cannavale, isn't there because he is at a Reptile Expo.
Not a film festival, not a shoot, a Reptile Expo. Specifically, Repticon.
Repticon. It sounds like a gathering of Transformers villains.
It does, but it is very real. And Rose used this phrase that I think is going to enter the lexicon. She said he was in Deep Jersey.
Deep Jersey. As someone who has driven through the Garden State, I can picture exactly what she means.
Oh, same.
It's not the jersey of the Sopranos necessarily. It's the industrial, practical, strip mall and convention center jersey.
It highlights the absurdity of the trade-off. Think about the opportunity cost here. You have the option of drinking champagne with Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio, rubbing elbows with the absolute elite of global culture.
What?
Or standing in a convention center in Edison looking at geckos, and Bobby chose the geckos.
But here is where it gets really interesting, and why I think this story resonated so hard with people. This wasn't just Bobby having a weird midlife crisis hobby. This wasn't him just deciding he likes lizards now.
No, although that would be funny. Joking that he's leaving Hollywood to breed iguanas, that would be quite a pivot.
It would be. But Rose actually went on The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, just a few days before the Globes on January 8th, and she explained the stakes.
The real reason.
This wasn't about Bobby. This was about the parent-fail fear.
Ah, the universal equalizer.
They have two sons, Rocco and Raphael, who are 9 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they had promised the boys a bearded dragon.
A classic pet promise.
And you know how it is with kids. A promise is a blood oath. If you break it, you are dead to them.
Absolutely. You cannot negotiate with a 9-year-old who has been promised a dragon. The ramifications of failing that promise are far worse than missing a party, even if that party is the Golden Globes.
And it just so happened that the only time to get this specific bearded dragon at this specific expo was the same weekend as the Golden Globes.
So they had a family meeting. I love imagining this. 2 movie stars and 2 kids sitting around a kitchen table weighing the Golden Globes against a lizard. And they decided that the Expo was, quote, the place to go.
Rose described Bobby as doing God's work. I mean, imagine the phone call to your publicist.
Oh, the publicists must have lost their mind.
Hey, I can't make the red carpet. I'm on lizard duty.
It's a nightmare for the PR team, but it's gold for the public image. But we have to talk about the logistics of this because it wasn't just buying a pet. It was the crickets.
Oh, God, the crickets.
In that same interview, Rose mentioned that these things eat live crickets, and she has this genuine, visceral fear that the crickets are going to escape in the house.
Which, let's be honest, is a statistical certainty. If you have a box of crickets, you eventually have crickets in your vents. You eventually have crickets in your shoes.
Exactly. So you have this image of this Hollywood power couple, people who probably have staff to handle their landscaping and their scheduling, dealing with the very primal fear of escaped insects. And a creature that Rose described as scary-looking, huge, brown and orange.
It's cinematic in its own right. It's a domestic thriller playing out in the background of an awards campaign.
It really is. And because Bobby was off hunting lizards in Edison, Rose had to bring a backup date. She brought her brother, George.
And let's be honest, George wasn't a bad consolation prize. Rose described him as looking like Robert Pattinson meets Jacob Elordi.
Which is a very high compliment in 2026. That is the peak aesthetic right now. The brooding, tall, jawline-heavy look.
High praise. So she's there with her Pattinson-Elordi hybrid brother, winning the biggest award of her career, and her husband is in deep jersey. But you know, if we zoom out a bit, this moment actually tells us a lot about the film that won. Because if I had legs, I'd kick. You isn't your typical Golden Globe winner.
No, it's not. It represents a shift we're seeing in the industry. It's a signal that the voters are looking for something different.
And that's what we need to get into. This wasn't just a funny speech, it was a signal. Coming up, we are going to dive into the $8.50 movie that beat the blockbusters, why the industry is pivoting to raw, over-polished, and the one question everyone was asking. Did they actually get the lizard?
We will definitely have that answer.
If you are loving these Hollywood twists and hearing about stars acting like regular humans, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
So let's look at the film itself. If I had legs, I'd kick you. Even the title is aggressive, quirky, unpolished. It's a psychological comedy drama about a mother's shame spiral.
Which feels appropriate given the parent-fail context we just discussed.
It tracks perfectly. It's produced by A24, directed by Mary Bronstein. For those who don't follow the industry closely, A24 has become this brand that signifies cool, weird, intellectual.
But usually they are the underdogs.
Right. In her speech, Rose joked that the budget was about $8.50.
Which, in Hollywood terms, is basically craft services for 10 minutes on a Marvel movie.
Exactly. It was shot in just 25 days. It's a tiny, intimate film, and yet it beat out massive contenders with huge promotional budgets. It really highlights a shift we saw at the 2026 Globes toward independent cinema. The voters were looking for something raw, something real.
Why do you think that is? Why now?
I think there's a fatigue with the machine. You know, the movies that are engineered in a boardroom to hit every quadrant, audiences and voters are craving idiosyncratic voices. They want the messy, low-budget film about a mother's shame spiral because it feels human. It doesn't feel like a product.
And speaking of human, the reaction in the room to Rose's speech was priceless. There's this shot of Emma Stone, who's usually very composed, just laughing hysterically when Rose mentions the bearded dragon.
Yeah, that was the viral moment because it pierced the bubble. You're in this room of immense ego and pretension where everyone takes themselves so seriously, and suddenly you're talking about Repticon. It's so wholesome.
It's prioritizing a pet over a red carpet. The internet ate it up because it shatters the illusion of perfection.
They really did. But here's the twist. Because there's always a twist in PR.
Always.
Rose later gave a bombshell interview to the New York Times in late February to set the record straight. Because apparently, she started worrying.
Worrying about what? That she oversold the joke?
She worried that people thought Bobby was the lizard fanatic, like that he just loved reptiles more than her.
Oh, I see. Like it was his personal hobby.
Yeah.
That he just ditched her to go look at snakes for fun.
Exactly. She had to clarify, quote, "It's not for Bobby, it's for our children." She basically vowed never to announce something like that on a major award show again because the narrative got away from her.
That is fascinating. It shows you how careful they have to be. You tell a funny anecdote to humanize yourself, and suddenly the world thinks your husband is an obsessed herpetologist who prefers cold-blooded animals to his wife.
Exactly. But the most important question remains, did they get the lizard? They did. Rose confirmed to Extra that, quote, "We've got the guy. He's really cute." So the mission to Deep Jersey was a success.
Thank goodness. But there's another layer of irony here that we have to touch on. It wasn't just that Bobby missed Rose's big night. He missed his own movie's big night.
That's right. And this is the part that really blows my mind. Bobby Cannavale was in Blue Moon, the Richard Linklater film.
Which is a fantastic film. Linklater is royalty.
It stars Ethan Hawke as Lorenz Hart. Bobby plays a bartender at Sardi's. And Blue Moon was nominated for Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy.
So he literally skipped the ceremony where his own film was a top contender.
To get a lizard.
To get a lizard.
It speaks volumes about priorities. In an era where actors are fighting for screen time and relevance, he just opted out.
It's a power move. Honestly, it's the ultimate flex. I'm too busy being a dad to accept this accolade. It signals that he doesn't need the validation.
Or that he fears his children more than he fears the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
A completely valid fear. But if you think a lizard was the biggest shock of award season, you need to buckle up. Because we are moving from January to February, from reptiles to mammals.
From the Golden Globes to the BAFTAs.
That's right. Wait until you hear what happened in London just 2 days ago. A bear stole the show, and a favorite was snubbed.
This is where the season gets chaotic.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because the drama doesn't stop in New Jersey. We are shifting gears to the BAFTAs, February 22, 2026.
The British Academy Film Awards. Historically, the BAFTAs are seen as the polite precursor to the Oscars. A bit more sedate, a bit more predictable. It's usually where the refined, highbrow choices are confirmed.
Not this year. The 2026 BAFTAs were described as unpredictable and packed with shocks. It feels like the voters in London decided to throw out the script entirely.
Let's start with the biggest upset, the Best Actor category. This was the category where everyone thought they knew the outcome.
This was the heavy hitter category. You had Leonardo DiCaprio, you had Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, you had Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme.
These are the titans. These are the guys who've been campaigning for months, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing the roundtable interviews. They have put in the work.
All the big names, everyone has their speeches written. The cameras are ready to pan to Leo's face, expecting that familiar moment of triumph. And the winner is...
Robert Aramayo.
Robert Aramayo.
For I Swear.
Now, for those who haven't seen it, I Swear is a low-budget drama about Tourette syndrome.
It's a phenomenal performance, absolutely gut-wrenching, but nobody saw this coming. The reports say the room was visibly stunned. You could hear a pin drop.
I bet they were. You have Leo sitting there probably practicing his gracious loser face, but genuinely shocked. What does a win like this tell us about the voting body?
It tells us that the Oscar campaign machine might be breaking down. Usually you can buy your way to a nomination with visibility. Billboards, ads, parties. But I Swear didn't have that machine. It won on pure merit. It's a victory for the craft over the commerce. It suggests the voters are actually watching the screeners, not just looking at the posters.
It just shows that this year, the voting bodies are really looking outside the box. They aren't just rubber stamping the blockbusters. But Robert Aramayo wasn't the only surprise guest. We mentioned a bear earlier.
We did, and it wasn't a bearded dragon this time, it was Paddington Bear.
Paddington.
Paddington Bear made a surprise appearance to present an award. And according to the sources, he drew the loudest cheers of the night.
Of course he did. He's a national treasure in the UK.
It's interesting, isn't it? You have these serious artists, these intense dramas like, I swear, and if I had legs, I'd kick you, and yet the biggest reaction is for a CGI bear who loves marmalade.
It brings some levity to the whole thing. It reminds everyone that movies are supposed to be magical. But let's circle back to our protagonist, Rose Byrne. She wins the Globe. She's the darling of the internet. How did she fare at the BAFTAs?
Well, she was nominated for leading actress for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. But unfortunately, the lizard luck didn't hold out across the Atlantic.
No.
She lost. She lost to Jessie Buckley for Hamnet.
Hamnet. That's the adaptation of the Maggie O'Farrell novel, right? About Shakespeare's son.
Correct. And Jessie Buckley is a powerhouse. This win positions her as the frontrunner for the Oscars, which are coming up on March 15th.
So we have a race. We have Jessie Buckley with the BAFTA momentum, which usually predicts the Oscar. But we have Rose Byrne with the Golden Globes and the People's Choice narrative on her side, thanks to the lizard story.
It's going to be tight. The Academy voters love a narrative, and Dedicated Mom, whose husband is hunting reptiles in Deep Jersey, is a very strong narrative. But Shakespearean tragedy, played by an Irish virtuoso, is also catnip for the Academy.
It makes Rose relatable. It grounds her. But Jessie has the prestige.
Exactly. It's the battle of the narrative versus the craft. Although both performances are incredible examples of craft.
We should also mention the big winner of the night at the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Just to give the full picture of what this season looks like.
Right. While the acting awards were full of upsets, Paul Thomas Anderson's film One Battle After Another really dominated. It won 6 awards, including Best Film and Best Director.
So that's the juggernaut to beat for Best Picture.
Definitely. But again, in this season, anything can happen. We've seen tiny budgets beat blockbusters. We've seen Reptile's upstage A-listers. We've seen Robert Aramayo beat Leo.
It's a wild year. It feels like the rules have been suspended entirely.
It is, and it raises an interesting question about what these awards actually mean.
Yeah.
You know, we spend so much time analyzing the campaigns, the dresses, the speeches, but the moments that stick, they're the human ones.
The unexpected ones.
The Deep Jersey ones.
Award season isn't over yet. The Oscars are just weeks away. Can you imagine? A bearded dragon on a leash at the Dolby Theater.
I think the Academy might have strict rules against live insects for feeding, but who knows? Maybe she'll bring the crickets.
Let's summarize where we are. We have a year where an $8.50 budget movie wins Globes. We have Paddington Bear presenting BAFTAs, and we have an A-list actor choosing crickets over caviar.
It feels like a shift away from the perfectly polished, PR-controlled celebrity image. We are entering the era of the messy winner.
And maybe that's the takeaway here. In an era where award shows are fighting for relevance, fighting for viewership, maybe the most winning move isn't taking the trophy. Maybe it's skipping the party.
Skipping the party to be a dad in Deep Jersey.
Prioritizing the promise you made to your 9-year-old over the promise of a golden statue.
Because the statue sits on a shelf and collects dust. But a bearded dragon? That's a commitment. That's a living, breathing reminder of your priorities.
That is a commitment. And crickets do escape.
They do escape, and when they do, they chirp all night. It's a relentless reminder.
Here's a thought to leave you with, to mull over before our next deep dive. We always assume that the best night of an actor's life is winning the award. The confetti, the applause. But maybe, just maybe, the best night is the one where you don't have to wear the uncomfortable shoes, you don't have to make the speech, and you just get to be a person buying a lizard in the convention center.
It's a compelling argument for JOMO, the joy of missing out.
Absolutely. JOMO over FOMO.
Every time.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.
And watch out for escaped crickets. See you next time.